Okay.
Okay, it's recording.
Our
Yeah.
first award is going to be going to Assemblyman Felix Ortiz. Where is the plaque? Annie, you're going to read this. And she's on her way up here. As Annie comes, I really have to tell you that Assemblyman Ortiz is also one of our champions. He is so caring and so giving. He is really a man of the people. We're fortunate to have him heading up our mental health committee for the Assembly. He's also a veteran in the Army, ROTC, very impressive. And he's probably, I'd say to us, one of the three most important.
Law to create 5 eating disorder centers across the state to help those who suffer from mental illnesses such as anorexia and bulimia. He continues to fight the fight to pass laws mandating that fast food restaurants post the nutritional value of foods they serve to help consumers make more informed choices. Assemblyman Ortiz is a recognized fighter for children, families, and immigrants. And NAMI New York State presents the 2012 Legislative Champion Award to Assemblyman Felix Ortiz for his steadfast support of persons with mental disabilities, veterans and military families, cultural competence and awareness. Mr. Assemblyman Ortiz.
It comes with a stand. Where's the stand, Matthew?
It's right there, right on the corner there.
Right here, right on the corner.
Oh, there you go.
It is real.
We run a class operation, no budget cuts here.
Here we go. It's right here.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And also I would like to acknowledge the presence of Assemblyman Avenatti, who is on my left right there. He's also has the champion and someone who also is very, very sensitive to the needs of our community. And also I would like to thank you very much and to thank NAMI for giving me the opportunity to receive this wonderful award on behalf of the member of my committee, on behalf of all of you and those who are not here today, and also on behalf of the people of my 51st Assembly District who sent me to Albany to fight and to put the difficult fight in action. And also I would like to say that Assemblyman Aubrey was right on the money when he was talking about when we trying to do collaborative or partnership public hearings in order to address the needs of the people according to the field and the jurisdiction that they are located, whether it is in the correction department, whether it's in the juvenile justice system, whether it's in children and family in foster care. We need to tackle the needs of our children, wherever they are, whether they're in the prison system and they become adult and they need their services and they need to make sure they take their medication, that they are, the willingness within the agencies is to respond to the needs of the people. And this is something that we have worked very hard, and I really thank Assemblyman Aubrey for being a real partner and also one that I can call to be one of my mentors to take me through the process as well, to have a better understanding of the dynamic of the correction system. Let me just point out a couple of things. Number one, it's no question in my mind that we need to tackle the issue in the early stage of our children's life. We need to ensure that our education system have the skills that are necessary to identify what I usually refer as the early intervention needs of our community, of our people. We need to make sure that the Department of Education will have in place at least a mental health provider sitting on site on every school throughout the state of New York. That is a legislation that I have introduced for many years because I do believe that we need to have a mental health professional in every school, as well as I do believe that we need to have a guidance council. We need to make sure that if we really want to tackle the needs and identify the problem earlier, before they get to the $55,000 per year, that we can reverse and reinvest those $55,000 per year to hire a mental health provider in every school throughout the state. That is what is going to help us to diminish the amount of people and youngsters that had to go through the system that Assemblyman Aubrey was referring to. We talk about the wonderful economic development. Well, if we invest in early education, we are going to expect great outcome and result at the end of the day, that those folks will become to be economic agents and revenue producer for the state of New York, but not in the jail system, but yes, in the workforce. And that is what we need to address and how we need to talk about it. You are my icons. You are a kind of people that I look into every single day that I wake up and I think about you, because I told you my story about my niece. Some of you know the story of my niece. I have a niece that is one that is autism. I have a niece that is mentally challenged. And for better or for worse, they live next to me all the time. I think it's important when you hear Assemblyman Butler talking about his story. And let me just share with you that there is so many members who have the same stories. And there are so many members that when you walk through their offices and you talk about your agenda, whether we need housing, whether we need education awareness, whether we need to ensure that Assemblyman Ortiz bill and Senator McDonald bill about addressing the need of awareness and education regarding our veterans get addressed, and we get that done, that you have that passion and that faith that you put to every legislator. And furthermore, you know how to divide them by district too. So you do have what it takes to make my life and my job easier. Because when I'm talking to legislators, they already know your agenda. And by the way, it's better yet, they usually run to me to ask me, this is on the budget. What is not in the budget? Why we letting the governor to do A, B, C, D? Why we cannot be a little more outspoken? And that makes me feel that I'm not only being watched by you, but I've been watched and measured by every member in that conference. When I had to make my presentation about what kind of deal we're making with the governor's office about the budget, you had to see how members stand up to ask questions about the need for this beautiful community. Because they also now understand how painful and how difficult it is, because they do have one of their own as well. So that makes a big difference. That makes my job not only more challenging, but make my job a little more easy when it's come down to talk about the budget. It is important to also address the need for, on behalf of our children, especially when you see the department, the CDC coming out with a report that the percentage of suicide among teenagers is on the horizon. And we need to talk about that. We need to talk about why that's happening. What is happening in our school regarding the bully situation? You know, I always tell the story about my grandkids. I have a set of twins, a boy and a girl. One was born during the nighttime, the other was born at night and in the daytime. And when you see them, you understand why. And these two twins, you know, it's interesting because the first time I took the chairmanship, I took them to one of the centers for people with disability. And I just took them because I wanted to see their reaction. And their reaction was the natural reaction of everyone who have a child or a cousin like I used to have. That my aunt will take it to the mall and everybody will go like this. Why? Because it's not enough awareness and it's so much shame in ourselves that we feel intimidated in whichever way we want to feel. That we don't want to be seen. In my case, walking with my niece, who's suffering from autism, advanced autism, and she can probably destroy everything in the store. And when she's yelling, screaming, and I have to hold her, you know, people are preferred to run away from her rather than come close to her and give her compassion. And that's what you bring to me, and that's what you bring to every legislator. That passion, that compassion, and that caring. And it's no question in my mind that we need to continue to speak very loud, whether from the federal government down to localities, about research. We need to make sure that we have the resources necessary to continue to look forward, and look very deep. And by giving the resources necessary to make sure that we one day can wake up and have better answers to our problems. Prescription drugs is not always the answer. Prescription drugs is not always the answer. And you don't need to be an actor, an actress, in order to make the news. So many people are suffering and dying as a result. But because we are not in the movie theater yet, some of us don't even make the newspaper. So we need to understand one thing, and I leave you with this, that you do have a group of legislators that really care. You do have a group of legislators that really care. You do have it in the Senate, you have it in the Assembly. I'm very proud and happy to have Senator McDonald on the other side, who also is a person who understands as a result of his own family. And when you engage on this kind of crusade to trying to look for answer and look for budgetary funding to go part of some of the programs that need to be addressed for the needs of our community, let's don't forget that all these start at home. All these start at home. We need to take care of our own. We should not be feel ashamed, and we should step to the plate and educate those who doesn't want to be educated by bringing awareness, by taking our family to the restaurant, by taking our family to the malls, by taking our family even to the Capitol, even if it makes some people miserable, life miserable. But let's do it, because that's the only way that we will get the answers that we want and the funding that we deserve to continue to fund programs such as yours, such as programs throughout the state of New York, and also to demand from the federal government that it's time for them to step to the plate. Thank you, and may God bless you, and thank you for your help.
Assemblyman, I was really inspired by your words because sometimes
And by the way, I'm the shorter one. Jeff already the shortest.
Oh, you're very tall in our eyes. You're a giant. It's encouraging to know that there are people out there who are listening because sometimes we do this advocacy and we wonder, is anybody really making a difference? So that's very encouraging. The other thing I want to say, I grew up with a brother who has schizophrenia and an uncle who my mother raised who has a developmental disability. They used to call it retarded. And every Sunday we'd go out to eat our family in Rockaway in Queens. And I'd see people stare and laugh at my uncle and my brother. And I didn't want to go as I became a teenager. It was so painful to see my family pretend that everything was fine and people would be staring and laughing. Well, you know what? I still take my uncle out to eat and my brother. And lo and behold, the last time we went to Friendly's before they closed it down here in Albany, the young people serving were so compassionate and nice, gave my uncle extra cherries because even though he's elderly, he's still a little kid with his sweetness in many ways. So there is a difference of how our relatives were perceived 50 years ago and today, and it's because of people like you. I thank you.
Thank you.